Thank you. I had one thought.
Okay, don't worry.
Alex, we can't see Vice Mayor Lang. He's online, but I don't see him. Yes. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Oh, we can see you now.
All right, hold on. Sorry, just give me one.
Charlie, we can see you now.
You can see him now? Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, let's go to.
It is a great setup, I have to say that.
Okay, we are live on YouTube and I will start recording. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, I will call this meeting to order at 5:40. Charlie, can we take a roll call, please?
Yes. Ann Bybee,
Present.
Ray Wang, or Liang Chow.
Liang here.
Okay. Kelly Ramirez or Greg Bozzo. Larry Lang,
Here.
Rajiv Bateja. Rob Moore,
Here.
Carmen Montano,
Here.
Lisa Shannon,
Here.
Mark Turner or Marilyn Liebers, Ellen Kamei or Chris Clark, Vicky Vinker.
Here.
George Casey, he told me he was not able to make it tonight. Sudge Jane,
Here.
Tina Walia,
Here.
Chelsea Chang. Here. With 10, we have quorum. Chair.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so we'll move to oral communications from the public on non-agendized items. Is anyone here to address the board on something not on the agenda? Seeing none, I will close oral communications and move to our first item on the agenda, which is consent, which is a recommendation for the minutes. And we have one correction to the minutes, I believe.
So I'd like to read the correction. We need to add one clarification to the meeting minutes. The Cities Association did not have a LAC chair / second VP at the time of the meeting. So the minutes should identify when I correct them that Board President Tina Walia chaired the meeting. This correction will be made to the LAC minutes.
Great. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Perfect. Do we need to take a roll call for all?
Second, Walia.
Oh, who's the first? I'm sorry. Oh, Eager. Yes, we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay, perfect.
Do we just barely have quorum?
No, we have 10 out of 15. Okay, is there anyone here to speak on the minutes? Seeing none, we'll take a roll.
Okay. Ann Bybee.
Aye.
Liang Chow.
Aye.
Larry Lang.
Yes.
Rob Moore.
Yes.
Carmen Montano.
Yes.
Lisa Shannon.
Yes.
Vicky Vinker.
Yes.
Sudge Jane.
Abstain.
Tina Walia.
Yes.
Chelsea Chang.
Yes.
Minutes passed with 9 ayes and 1 abstention.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, we will move to item 2, which is the chair's update. First, thank you all for being here. Great to be chairing this meeting. So thanks, Don, for making the time. I wanted to just provide a brief update on the governor's May revise, as that just came out, and it has a big impact on our cities. Overall, from my brief assessment, it's much rosier than I think we initially anticipated. Seemingly, the AI boom has significantly helped with revenue for the state. And the budget he's introduced is balanced. It reduces the long-term deficit and sets aside about $10 billion in a surplus, which is great. It also, the governor's May revise does not propose any major cuts that would shift costs to our local governments, which is excellent. That's to say nothing of state legislation, obviously, but to the governor's budget specifically. Just a few things that I took out of it that I thought were important for this body is that it proposes major changes to local development fees. Cities would no longer be able to charge impact fees on affordable housing projects when the projects apply for state funding, which is a big change. And this is with the intent of speeding up the production of affordable housing, but will reduce our local fee revenue. Another big change is the expansion of sales tax to digital software, starting in 2027, which would create a significant new revenue stream for cities potentially, but also could be an impact to our businesses. A couple other things are the governor proposes a $100 million disaster rebuilding fund to help homeowners in affected areas, specifically by wildfires, rebuild. It was initially targeted to just Los Angeles, but is likely to be expanded to the state, which is great. Though $100 million is not a whole lot of money for rebuilding for wildfire. Last two ones or the last one is that small businesses will have their LLC fees cut in half beginning in 2027. And so those are the big updates. Great. I would ask for questions, but if you ask them, I don't know that I can answer them. So that's the update that I have.
I have a question. Rob.
Yes.
So you mentioned about the affordable housing, that the impact fees for affordable housing, is that below market or low to low, very low?
So if they're applying for state funding, so that would be any 100% affordable project is my understanding. And then even to use my own city's context, we have a development that's developing at 20% affordable, but the affordable units are being set aside and developed separately, and they're applying for state funding. This would apply to that.
Yeah, but is it below market or is it very low? Is it low or very low?
Any BMR category.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Great. Okay. We will now move, unless anyone has anything else, we will move to item 3, which is our discussion of bills here. I will, unless anyone has any questions, I'll begin with opening up public comment on all of these. Is there any comment on any of these items? Seeing none, we will go to our first bill, which is AB 1821. This is one that was suggested last time, and something that has been talked about quite a bit to make life a bit easier on our cities and especially our clerks. In short, this bill would convert the California Public Records Act's 10-day and 14-day deadlines from calendar days to business days. And I will open up questions and discussion on this item.
Yeah, so the city of Santa Clara gets a lot of PRAs. Partly they're weaponized by people that are aligned on the different factions on our city council. So, I mean, just in 5 years, I've received 290 PRAs from one person, right? And often the PRAs are misspelled and they're basically abuse. They're to soak up my time. And so it takes a lot of time for us to respond to so many PRAs. So I like the idea of extending the time. I would actually prefer that there was some sort of limit on PRAs from, say, members of the public rather than press, because it can absolutely be weaponized. I mean, for example, some bad actor could write a computer program to issue PRAs to every elected official in the state of California to ask about the budget. And everyone would have to respond to that PRA. It would be absolutely crushing to all government agencies. So I know that's not what the bill is, but at some point I'd like to see it go even further.
Yeah, I want to agree with you. There are people that politicize it and they abuse it, and it takes up so much staff time that it's draining our resources. So I'm glad that this bill, it should have more teeth in it though, but maybe it'll evolve in the future. But yeah, I agree.
Does anybody know in your cities, is anybody starting to use like AI? Is there a way to gather the information more quickly? I feel like as time is going on, there's going to be lots of opportunities to be able to get the information people want a lot faster with less staff time.
We're starting to look at it a little bit. I mean, AI can easily redact personal information like phone numbers and email addresses. That would save our staff a lot of time, but we're we haven't gone very far, but I've been asking for some software to help our staff because they're overworked.
Well, it's not just staff time, it's our time, to your point.
Yeah.
So because our personal accounts are implicated, because we're public officials, in addition to the City of Palo Alto account that staff searches, I have 4 separate active email accounts, and I have to individually search each term on each of those accounts in addition to the text. And then what I find, I have to then, it's a couple more days to do that. I think is fine.
And interestingly, just to add a little bit of color to this bill was actually, when it was introduced, it was much more expansive, but there was pushback. And so it got sort of watered down to this more palatable, conversion of calendar days to business days.
And was the colorful part addressing some of the concerns?
Mhm.
Okay. And so it just felt it wouldn't be passed if they were included still in this bill.
Yeah, I believe there was discussion about actually introducing a separate bill to address some of the more controversial aspects, but I don't think it ever happened. I think what the authors decided was to introduce another bill next session, but that this is a very passable bill right now.
Move to approve?
I would second it after you've taken public comment.
I think I took public comment. Can I
You
take
did?
public comment on all at the beginning? It's
Yeah.
just one item, right? So we
Yeah.
already did that.
Okay, great.
Okay, so second.
Second that.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll to approve, to endorse this bill?
To recommend that the board
Recommend to the
to
board
take a support position.
taking a
on-
support position on AB 1821.
Thank you. Ann Bybee.
Yeah.
Liang Chow.
Aye.
Kelly Ramirez.
Yes.
Larry Lang.
Yes.
Rob Moore.
Yes.
Carmen Montano.
Yes.
Mark Turner.
Yes.
Lisa Shannon.
Yes.
Ellen Kamei.
Our city has no position, but we're looking at taking a yes.
Vicky Vinker.
Yes.
Saj Jain.
Yes.
Tina Walia.
Yes.
Chelsea Chang.
Yes.
Wait, with 13 yeses, motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. Okay, so our next bill is AB 2296 from one of our local legislators, Diane Pappin, which would alter the housing element review process by giving cities 6 more months to complete their housing elements. It would also require HCD to provide clearer direction in its review letters to local governments. And this was, again, a bill that was recommended to this body by someone last time.
I have to ask a question about it. I'm a little bit concerned about, at least from the digest that we got, where it talks about the legislative bodies must consider this guidance before adopting their element and must either incorporate HCD's suggested language or adopt written finding explaining why. Does anybody know about that? It sounds like when a city submits, and then HCD sends back what their comments are, that the cities have to incorporate what HCD says in their actual housing element. I'm just a little bit concerned that they're basically telling the cities what they have to say in their housing element. Otherwise, if they have to adopt written findings explaining why they didn't use the suggested language, it just concerned me. 6 more months, I don't know, does that make a difference?
It would have been Los Gatos.
Time-wise makes a huge difference. I think your question's always right, because there is that language that makes you wonder, okay, what are they intending by that? But from a time frame perspective, not only that, but it cuts HCD's review window from revised drafts from 60 days to 30 days. So they've got to act more quickly. So I think both of those are vitally important to our cities, but I do think, yeah, you've got a good question there with regard to the,
The two words, the must.
yeah.
When must is used twice, but I will say that it puts HCD on the hook for providing clear information on why a housing element is not compliant. And this should reduce the resubmittal, speed up the certification, and reduce consultation costs as well.
So, Mayor?
Yes, we'll go to,
So, I completely agree with what Mayor Turner and Councilmember Ramirez have said. Having gone through the prior housing element, it was a nightmare because I repeat this for the, I don't know, 50th time or 100th time, my city, we submitted in July of 2022, the first draft. No change, no comment on opportunity sites. 24 months later was approved after 8 rounds of comments. So I hear your concern, completely agree with you, but there are those two huge benefits because they would take months. And meanwhile, we were held hostage amongst all the cities in the county. We had the maximum number of builders remedy because that's what was happening during that duration. We have over 22 or something, which you're familiar with. So after discussion, my suggestion would be we need to move this forward because they are being held accountable, not enough, and they are sliding in something else. But they have always used, last time, not always, last time they certainly used their bureaucratic power to impact cities. So maybe we can, at the end, if we want to support this, one option would be to consider also recommending changing the language, suggesting, requesting, basically pleading is what I would say. Those two words, at least bringing it to their attention, the impact of those two words, of the word must in 2 places.
go to Liang.
So I believe we can do support with
Amendment.
amendment, right? So I think this is really good, moving in a good direction. However, it doesn't really address the key issue, which is there is no standard of what HCD is asking for upfront. They are asking the city to adopt objective standards so that the developers know exactly what they need to abide by. But now HCD is not giving us anything upfront. They should give us, here is what, before this cycle, the city can make a determination based on the state law that we have done everything we can to comply with the state law. And now HCD took the liberty to interpret the state law any which way they want, which is different from city to city, from revision to revision, which makes it a moving target that many cities, I think, have experienced. So even with this, it's still a moving target because they may comment on section A this time. Next time they say, oh, we want to comment on B now, you need to change B. And next time they say, oh, we want to comment on C now. It's still a moving target. So I wonder, can we add some languages so that we want HCD to give the city a standard ahead of time so we know?
I just think that's a different fight than this particular piece of legislation. I don't think we can get into all of that on this bill right here. But I think what you're saying is it is something we should look at and fight for, but it's not, I don't think the fight is on this one.
Okay.
So go to Vicky.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I read that paragraph slightly differently. The idea being that sometimes we didn't always know what they wanted from us, right? Like that was the problem. And so we would come back with something we thought, oh, okay, this does it. And then say no. So I read this as sort of as putting a burden on them to provide that specific text so that we know, so that it streamlines the whole thing. And then, but if we're going to ask them to do it, they don't want us to blow it off. So when they say we must consider, I mean, what's consider? All you do is write back, we have considered this and. So I don't think that's too much to ask. But then they say and must either incorporate or explain why not. I mean, that's sort of the process anyway. It's just that they're giving you the language so that if you decide that that's something you can comply with and want to, they're not going to come back and say, well, you didn't quite understand us right. Because I think that communication process problem has been a lot of the 8 go rounds, and such. Some is the real negotiation, but some is just people not meeting. So I don't really have a problem with that part of it. That said, our city hasn't necessarily signed on or off to the 6 months thing, so I will probably end up abstaining, but not for that reason.
Yeah,
Quick
please.
comment. It is a Cal Cities sponsored bill. Would you have more insights being in the leadership? And Ellen is here. Yes, Ellen.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
No,
not.
it's okay. I actually didn't have that that one in my notes that we supported that, and I'm trying to remember the discussion that we had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no.
But I think it was like a watch and that's what we'll be doing. Because we're looking for like further analysis, it's position pending analysis.
That's from Mountain View, though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, but I think for our board did. Can't remember if it was a watch.
I think it's actually sponsored by League of Cities.
This one? Oh, okay.
Because we
Sorry.
talked about it, because I'm on the housing committee.
Okay,
or
I just
Cal-
couldn't remember. We talked
Cal
through
City.
so many bills.
So many,
that day.
and a lot of housing bills, I'm sure.
Yeah,
This-
sorry. So maybe I'm getting confused.
This
with a
bill
different one.
is sponsored by the League of Cities, and it was supported by our counterparts in San Mateo County, this body in San Mateo County.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Letter.
I'm just looking at my email from my city manager, sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. Okay, and I'm just for my personal thoughts, I'm in line with what Vicky shared. I think while yes, having to adopt language, is a burden. That's sort of like you said, that's the case we're currently in, right? That's what currently is happening. And when we would, it wouldn't necessarily be actually signed off on by HCD. So I think either adopting the language or saying why it complies, I actually think is reasonable. And I would be of the opinion that taking just a support position is better than support if amended, but that's just my feeling.
With you on that.
I move to support as is.
I'll second.
Any other comments or questions? Okay.
Question.
Yes.
So just reading an AI summary, I don't know if it's accurate. It mentioned, I asked about what other concerns are about this bill. It says opponents argue the bill entrenches a failed RENA system by prohibiting new legislation for 34 months before a new cycle, potentially dooming the 7th cycle. Maybe what's the old language that's removed?
That actually is old. I'm looking at, there is language about 34 months that was struck from the bill.
Okay, so there is no locking the legislation any months before the cycle.
I don't know for sure.
34
but-
seems a long time, but maybe not. But then I think it would be nice to have 6 months on lock, but it's not there anymore. Okay.
Shelley, can we have a roll call, please?
Motion to recommend that the Cities Association Board take a support position on AB 2296 was made by Ramirez, seconded by Turner. Charles C. Chang,
Yes.
Tina Walia,
Yes.
Suds Jane,
Yes.
Vicky Winker,
Abstain.
Ellen Kamei,
Abstain.
Mark Turner,
Yes.
Lisa Shannon,
Yes.
Carmen Montano,
Yes.
Rob Moore,
Yes.
Larry Lang,
Yes.
Kelly Ramirez.
Yes.
Liang Chow,
Yes.
Ann Bybee.
Yeah.
Great. With 2 abstentions and 11 ayes, motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to our third bill, which is SB 1167 from Catherine Blakespear of Southern California on everyone's favorite topic, electric bicycles. So just for a tiny bit of background, there are a lot of e-bike bills in the legislature this session, as you can imagine. This one was recommended last time, and it's one that my city has spent a lot of time looking at. And so this is the one that I chose to bring forward, but would be happy to consider others for the future. What this bill would do is addresses the marketplace specifically and strengthens consumer protections around how e-bikes are marketed and sold. The other thing that this bill aimed to do that was actually successfully done is prohibit certain manufacturers and retailers from selling illegal e-motorcycles in California. And Amazon just agreed to do so somewhat in response to this legislation a couple days ago. Comments on this bill?
I think it clarifies the e-bikes, and Gilroy supports it, yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Other comments, questions? Yeah.
Question. In my city of Saratoga, we don't discuss bills, and this has not become a big issue. So I could either abstain, but I would even though I know this is the board's big priority and we'll be working on that. I'll be working.
You're fortunate. Yeah, that's knock on wood. That's
but it's important as a region for us to work together, as you've discussed in the board meetings. So I would like a little, not to take up time really, because we want to move forward, but if there are any other insights so that I can at least support this. I don't have much visibility.
I think there's confusion around, we say e-bikes.
Yes.
At this point, what is an e-bike? And that's, I think, especially when certain levels of power are illegal to certain age groups, and parents are thinking, oh, I'm getting my kid an e-bike for Christmas and stuff. I think that it allows, it's written towards the manufacturer, but then I think it allows the consumer then to understand better what they are actually purchasing. And so I think it just clarifies things better.
Thank you. That helps.
yes, Liang.
I'll be happy to support.
Yes. So there are a lot of students who actually ride e-bikes or e-scooter to school. So we just recently had a community meeting on this. And there are people who purchase an e-bike that will be locked with like a 25 miles per hour, but then they'll give you a code, you can unlock it. And people would unlock it, and then you would not know it actually can go over. And then also it's very hard for the sheriff to enforce, because it's hard to tell legal ones from illegal ones, especially for kids that some of them, the kids they need a driver's license to ride. Some of them 16-year-old or older can ride. Some of them is good for under 6. There are different range, but it's very hard to enforce. So San Mateo County has piloted program that they are doing this no throttle initiative. That means unless it's powered by your riding, if it's just throttle, you use a finger, it can power it. They banned it for schools, just for your information. But for this particular bill, it's not on our legislative platform. So I don't think I can take a position, although personally, I do think we need to have better labeling for e-bikes. I do support that. Yeah.
And also add a piece of context that, so actually 2 weeks ago, at Dartmouth Middle School, just outside of Los Gatos, there was a 13-year-old 7th grader who was fatally killed while riding an illegal e-motorcycle. I had his friend on the back. The friend is, I think, still in critical condition, 2 13-year-olds. And the big problem that we're seeing in Los Gatos and in West San Jose from the folks I've talked to there is that you get these parents who don't necessarily know or haven't done the time to figure out that what they're buying is essentially a motorcycle that can go 50, 60 miles an hour versus a e-bike, which is well regulated, has, very clear either 20-mile-an-hour limits or at the very max 27-mile-an-hour limits versus a motorcycle. So
Yeah, even 25 miles an hour is fast.
so quick.
I saw somebody in our community going down the road on a scooter, electric scooter, going the speed limit of 45 miles an hour, keeping up with traffic. And I'm just going, we're going to be scraping that guy off the roadway. No helmet, nothing. I mean, this is the kind of stuff. This stuff is so out of control. Yeah, we're desperate for something to change these.
Yeah. I live in a residential neighborhood, and there's a little boy that lives around the corner from us. He's probably 10, 11, and he rides an e-bike, and I'm pretty sure it is an e-bike. He rides it on the sidewalk, And it goes probably 25 miles an hour. But I got my grandbabies out there and and because of him, I now back my car into the driveway because I look to see if he's on the sidewalk as I pull it, come home and I back in. But if I am in my driveway backing out and I look one way or the other, I can't, he comes too fast.
Yeah, we had the case that someone backing out of the driveway and the e-bike come out of the corner, they didn't even see it. But then the driver is liable for all the damages.
Yeah.
And we had seniors being hit by people on e-bike or something.
So
Crazy.
So I'm
And they
happy
don't
to
stop for
support.
stop signs.
Okay, great. Well, we have a motion and a second. So can we have the roll call, please?
Motion to recommend that the Cities Association Board of Directors take a support position on SB 1167 Blakespeare by Turner, second by Jane. Ann Bybee. Abstain. Liang Chow.
Abstain.
Kelly Ramirez.
yes.
Larry Lang.
Yes.
Rob Moore.
Yes.
Carmen Montano.
Yes.
Lisa Shannon.
Abstain.
Mark Turner.
Yes.
Ellen Kamei.
Abstain.
Vicky Vinker.
Yes.
Suds Jane.
Yes.
Tina Walia.
Yes.
Charles E. Chang.
Abstain.
Okay. So motion passes with 8 yeses and 5 abstentions.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
2 absent. Yeah. Sorry.
Great. Thank you all. Making good time. We will move on to item D, which is SB 949 from Senator Josh Becker, which is one we looked at last time. And I brought this back after talking with the bill's author and also staff or Assemblymember Mark Berman. During the last so this bill would designate the Santa Cruz Mountains as a resource of statewide significance and direct the California Natural Resources Agency to encourage collaborative stewardship of the region's ecosystems, wildlife habitat, forests, watersheds, trails, working lands, and tribal cultural resources. And the concern that was raised by the Legislative Action Committee was, could this be used to control private land use? Which Assemblymember Berman, a principal co-author of the bill, expressed a similar concern during a committee hearing. So Senator Becker explicitly added the language that says this bill shall not be construed as authorizing the Natural Resources Agency to impose additional regulatory requirements on land use or working lands, including timber and agricultural lands within the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Does anyone know, like, what's the purpose of doing this designation? Is it to attract federal dollars for the area? Is it to get some state funding? I didn't have an understanding of why would they want to do this.
So from my understanding, yes to both of your first 2 questions. And then the bill would designate the Santa Cruz Mountains as a statewide landscape of significance, which is more symbolic than anything. Direct the Natural Resources Agency to prioritize protection, restoration, and management of the region. Support healthy forest management, wildfire resilience, and associated resources. And then finally, strengthen public access and recreation opportunities. And so this is being championed by Mid-Penn Open Space, the Semper Virens Fund, and some other agencies that are involved in the Santa Cruz Mountains to, I think, attract dollars for restoration efforts.
When they talk about healthy forest management, is there a definition of what that looks like?
Good question. I do not know the answer.
I didn't bother to look it up. I
Yeah.
apologize.
No. That's my job. Other thoughts or questions?
I think what they might mean is there are a number of tribal groups that are trying to use cultural fire practices to keep the fire load down in forests and also plant native plants in the area. So that's why I think there's some mention of tribal groups.
Yeah, the bill talks about nature-based solutions, which is those sort of more organic protection efforts. Other thoughts, feelings, emotions?
Well, the city of Gilroy feels that, we would have very little benefit, but sees the benefit to the region. So we would support it.
I know there's a 30 by 30 initiative. And so I think this strengthens that initiative by protecting wild lands. So I'm happy to make a motion to approve.
There's a second?
So I have a comment. Aren't there already protections for these lands?
Yes, I think
We want to do it again. And then the cost too.
So I'll answer your question. I'll see if there's a second first.
I'll second. Go ahead.
Great. So organizations like Semper Virens Fund, for instance, Semper Virens goes into the Santa Cruz Mountains and purchases land that can then be deeded to the state or mid-pen open space for the protection and restoration. And so this, I think, would help organizations like that do that. So because a lot of, from looking at some of the maps, the majority of the Santa Cruz Mountains is private, is owned by individuals or companies. And they're, talking with Mid-Pen. I was recently at Mid-Pen recently acquired several hundred acres up there. Semper Virens bought it, a decade ago, and it took them a full decade for it to become public land, even though the whole goal was to give it to a public agency. And so I think the issue that they're dealing with up there is that there's a lot of will for greater protections, but there's a lot of bureaucracy that prevents that from happening.
Yes, it reminds me of the Open Space Authority. But
Yeah, so OSA is one of the supporters of this bill.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
One question. Have there been major concerns expressed by different groups?
There are no opponents on the bill.
I saw that, but just in your reading, in your esteemed research that you do, because I am not very familiar with the details of this, and I'd be happy to support if I feel that there isn't somebody who's going to be not just one person, but a large group that would be big time impacted.
Yeah, in my research, I did not see any opposition from any organizations.
Thanks.
Question.
Yeah.
Are there mountain areas in Silicon Valley that's already of the statewide significance? I think Coyote Valley is, and do we know any other?
Yeah, there are two in our region, Coyote Valley, and I forget the other. I can look that up.
And then this thing I saw from somewhere, I'm not sure if it's accurate, says Santa Cruz Mountains include some portion of San Mateo, Santa Clara, and Santa Cruz County. So some Santa Clara portion of Santa Clara County is included in this significance region.
I think it's majority Santa Clara County.
Majority. Oh.
Yeah, Coyote Valley was made an area of statewide significance, which obviously helped to its protection in 2019. And some coastal regions. Not seeing any other thoughts, we'll take a roll.
Motion to recommend that the Cities Association Board of Directors take a support position on SB 949 Becker was made by James, seconded by Ramirez. Chelsea Chang?
Yes.
Tina Walia?
Yes.
Suds Jane?
Yes.
Vicky Vinker?
Yes.
Ellen Kamei?
Abstain.
Mark Turner,
Yes.
Lisa Shannon,
Yes.
Carmen Montano,
Abstain.
Rob Moore,
Yes.
Larry Lang,
Abstain?
Kelly Ramirez,
Yes.
Liang Chow,
Yes.
Ann Bybee. Okay. Right, with 4 yeses and, no, sorry, 4 abstentions and 9 yeses and 2 absents. Motion passes.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, we'll now move on to another housing bill, which is AB 1708. This is one of the big housing bills in the legislature this cycle that would potentially be of significant benefit to cities like ours. I can say in good company because poor Sensei isn't here today. What this would do is essentially, so this bill would require regions to plan for funding homelessness programs and services in smaller cities and establish clear, consistent processes for cities to access funds. What this bill would do is allow cities with populations less than 300,000 to be eligible for HAP funding, which is a significant funding stream for homelessness resources.
I would
Yeah,
just
thank you.
say, as you can see in the supporters list, that the city of Palo Alto has supported this bill and sent a letter in, and so we're on board. Money, not just for the big cities.
Question.
Yes.
So how is the money going to be allocated, and how would it be decided? How is the process going to work, or the dollar amount?
I don't know the answer to that question. Ellen, do you know anything about this?
Let me look it up. Hold on.
Yeah.
My understanding
I
is
get to
that
vote yes on this,
it's,
though.
it's just the dollar amount, and then those that apply, and then based on who's applying and population and just different criteria along that line, it's kind of scored, if you will. And not all cities are going to apply for it. So it's not like it's going to now go to all the cities that have populations of less than 300,000. Cities would have to apply for it.
Right. But I was just going to say, you can see that the city of Los Angeles, for instance, is opposing the bill because it changes it's a finite amount of money, and now a lot more cities can apply.
And when we were up in Sacramento for League of California Advocacy Days, it was interesting because I went to the committee and the committee meeting, and all of these people came up with Me Too votes. And the only one that did not was someone from the mayor's office in LA, and they went up to oppose. They were the only opposition.
Okay, that helps, because I'm thinking from my city's perspective. Again, we don't have a legislative discussion in my city. This vote is going to be mine, but I have to be careful about the budgetary consequences.
Sure.
So I'm trying to see from the other angle, is there going to be a negative?
In your city might even choose not to apply for it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't apply, there is no negative. We don't have to pay for anything, is essentially the question I'm asking.
Nope.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So this,
Funding,
it's
yeah.
if I can, it's
Please.
a Cal City sponsored bill.
Yeah.
And so there's over 80 cities that are supporting it. And my understanding is, so, when we were up in Sacramento advocating for the HAP funding, that this would, in addition to the HAP funding, having this bill would enable cities, especially smaller cities, to be able to access that homeless funding. It's my understanding.
Yeah.
So there isn't that negative fiscal impact. If anything, we're getting negatively impacted because we can't have access to those resources that the large cities can. That's my understanding of it. And remember, sorry, it took me a minute to recall, but
No, thank you, Ellen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think
Charles, see?
I had a question. It looks like it says only 14 of the state's 483 cities can currently access it.
right.
So, but if it opens up, how is it going? I guess it's the process of, is it for who applies first will
So-
get the funding?
AB 1708 would require COCs to prioritize applications from cities that have existing partnerships with nonprofits or have already leveraged state and local funding for existing projects in their community. So they have some criteria for this, but it does allow the 469 California cities with populations under 300,000 to apply. And we were boxed out before. So it does that boxing out. I'm sure there's more criteria and more detail. This is just our letter that we sent in that.
Other thoughts?
Rob, we had a question.
Yeah.
One of the requirements here is the adopting of a local encampment policy consistent with state guidance. Wondering what that state guidance would be. Does anybody know
I'm sorry, what was that?
what the state guidance is for adopting an encampment policy?
Larry here in Los Altos, we just adopted one, so I know that there's boilerplate language the state expects you to use, and we did.
Any thoughts? So what, can you share some of what that looks like?
I'd prefer to refer you to the public record of what we adopted, but it basically is meant to be crafted to be in compliance with the Grand Pass ruling and all the legalities around that. So, I mean, that's the sort of intention of that language, I believe.
Got it. Thank you.
Other thoughts? Yeah, please, Lane.
Just Cupertino has already supported this. And I believe that it's optional for us. We can decide if we want to adopt that encampment policy or not to access the funding.
I don't know what you,
So-
yeah, I don't know.
State guidance emphasizes 48-hour notices, storing personal belongings for 60 days, and coordinating with local service providers to clear sites.
Yeah, those are expenses that are on the city. 60-day storage. Valley Water has dealt with that.
45 days. State, I think, requires.
60
Right.
days. Valley Water's done it for 90 days. So, and that expense was always on them.
I think my understanding is that that's regardless. That's what the governor's directive has already said about what cities must do regardless
Got it.
of a
Yep.
encampment ordinance.
So may I follow?
Please.
So, Mayor Turner, so from that perspective, do you think this would add more? Because it's the mandates that I try to worry about in these bills. Is there a hidden or not so obvious mandate?
You know, and I don't really know. And I got to just be honest with you, I didn't do a deep dive on it, so I don't know. I would just be giving more of an opinion than I would anything based on factual research. So
But nothing jumped out, at least.
that jumped out at me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it gets a little in the weeds, but I think
Yeah.
I can answer that. So HAP has provided funding to these bigger cities, all 58 counties, and the 44 continuums of care across California. So what this bill would do would require the continuums of care, the COCs, before allocating funding to other subrecipients to accept applications for 30 days only from cities with populations under 300,000. So it's an application. So if you don't apply, you don't have to do anything. But if you do, it says interested cities would have to commit to the regionally coordinated action plans and adhere to state housing and encampment policies.
Right.
So you have to do all that if you apply.
Yeah.
But
You don't if you don't apply. Yep.
Actually, you only have to if you.
I don't know the details of this.
You're right. Then
Thank
it's true. Only if you get funded. You have to, right?
Not if you, just if you apply.
Right, right.
Yeah, Carmen.
I just feel that this bill exacerbates the homeless industrial complex. You know, who's gonna pay for it? And then plus the supportive services too. It's like the state is already in a budget crisis. And then what about those that are the working poor, which it seems that those are the ones that I would like to help because they're working and before they become homeless. So I'm not going to vote for this.
Does it expand HAP or does it just divvy it up differently?
It just divvies it up differently.
Yeah, so I don't think
So-
it adds any. Yeah.
And Newsom yesterday set aside $760 million for HAP, but that's
nothing.
right. But that's a legislative decision, not. Okay, I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll move. that We recommend approval by the board and support.
Great.
Second.
Any further discussion? Give a roll, please.
Okay. Motion to recommend that the Cities Association Board of Directors take a support position on AB 1708, Solachi, by Vinker, second by Jane. Ann Bybee? Yes. Liang Chow?
Yes.
Kelly Ramirez?
Yes.
Larry Lang?
Yes.
Rob Moore?
Yes.
Carmen Montano?
No.
Lisa Shannon?
Yes.
Mark Turner?
Abstain.
Okay. Ellen Kamei?
Yes.
Vicky Vinker?
Yes.
Tina Walia?
Abstain.
Charles E. Chang?
Yes.
With 2 abstentions, 1 nay, motion
Didn't
passed.
call me.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Saj Jane,
Yes.
the seconder of the motion. Thank you. Very sorry.
Second.
With 2 abstentions and 1 nay, 10 yeses, the motion passes.
Shelley, I'm gonna change mine to an abstention because I still don't know too much about it, so
Okay,
make it as an abstention.
gotcha. 10 yeses, 3 abstentions.
Great. Okay, we have 2 more and I think we can get through them. So we have SB 922 from Laird. This is a Cal City sponsored bill, and someone mentioned this at our last meeting. I do not know a detailed amount about this bill, but this bill would help cities maintain and repair local roads. Heavy vehicles like garbage and recycling trucks can cause significant damage, and cities have historically covered cost through service-related fees. This responds to a court case regarding waste hauling fees, and would clarify that fees and charges imposed by local agencies to recover the costs of street maintenance, repair, and other public services do not constitute a charge for the privilege of using local streets and roads. And so they're not prohibited. So this would allow cities to impose waste hauling fees. I know this has been a hot topic in some cities. Yeah, please, Carmen.
Would this include, so we, in our area, in our city, we have a Tesla hauling, they have because they have all what do they call those big diesel trucks they carry like 8 or 10 Teslas to the railroad, wherever they transport. But they put a lot of wear and tear on our streets. Would that also be an avenue where we can make them pay?
I do not know the answer to that.
And also we have a Google or a Amazon, so they do a lot of transporting. So that too, a lot of wear and tear on our streets. So.
Yes.
I know this is a little bit of an issue of Monte Sereno because we do, we had collected fees for this and it is part of our budget. And it seems like what this is doing is just making a correction to what was previously in place because of this court case. So it's just sort of reestablishing that we can charge these fees again with using the correct language. Is that what you understand as well?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, and not that you have to, but you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And CSAC is also a co-sponsor. So the county association for the state. Sorry, I forget what it is. I'm like looking. And the rural county RCRC. So it's all, I think we're in good company if we support it.
I thought Cal Cities also supports this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so with Cal City,
Cal City sponsored.
CSAC, RCRC.
Move to approve.
Great.
I'll second it.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who seconded.
Lisa Shannon. Great. Can we take a vote?
Motion to recommend that the Cities Association take a support position on SB 922 Laird was made by Turner, seconded by Shannon. Ann Bybee?
Yes.
Liang Chow?
Yes.
Kelly Ramirez?
Yes.
Larry Lang?
Abstain?
Rajiv Bateja? Oh, sorry, you're not here. Rob Moore?
Yes.
Carmen Montano?
Yes.
Lisa Shannon?
Yes.
Mark Turner?
Yes.
Ellen Kamei?
Yes.
Vicky Vinker?
Yes.
Suds Jane?
Yes.
Tina Walia?
Yes.
Charles E. Chang?
Yes.
With 12 yeses and 1 abstention, motion passes.
Great. Thank you. So that brings us to our final bill of the evening, which is AB 2385, which is another Cal City sponsored bill with a sort of novel idea that would allow cities to reconstitute redevelopment agencies for disasters called local reconstruction agencies to support disaster recovery efforts.
Is it only for disasters?
Yes.
Hey, we can always call something downtown a disaster.
Question.
Can you define what a disaster is? I mean.
Like
how would that-
earthquake, fire, right? I mean, you're talking something.
Yeah, and I know that our city administrator said that it's kind of like an insurance policy. If there were, for example, in our city, we have the outlets. And so if there was a devastating earthquake that just kind of, devastated the outlets, and then we didn't have that tax revenue coming in, it would help offset that.
That's a good point.
Yep.
So the question,
Waiting for the big one.
so maybe I'll ask Kelly, since your city administrator weighed in on this, any unknowns and concerns?
He did not express any concerns.
Okay.
No. He was supportive of this.
Okay. Chair, do you have any concerns about this that you've heard about or read somewhere?
He did say that it would be a lot of work putting it together. It would take time to kind of put it together. That would be the downside, if you will. But he felt it was worth it to have that, that kind of insurance policy type of thing in place.
So I heard that there is a consulting company that offer this specific service that before disaster, they already are creating plans and helping you organize. So would then that mean those consultants, cities would contract with those services to provide so that when disaster hits, we know what to do? So that it allows us to create agency for that.
I don't know that it's
But it's
specifically about redevelopment agency.
Okay.
There's no registered opposition for this.
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who seconded.
Is there a second? Oh, Carmen. Okay, great. Okay, let's take a vote.
Okay. Motion to recommend that the Cities Association Board of Directors take a support position on AB 2385 Petri Norris was made by Turner, seconded by Montano. Ann Bybee. Liang Chow.
Oh, yes.
Kelly Ramirez.
Yes.
Larry Lang.
Abstain?
Rob Moore.
Yes.
Carmen Montano.
Yes.
Lisa Shannon.
Abstain.
Mark Turner.
Yes.
Ellen Kamei.
Abstain.
Vicky Vinker.
Yes.
Dodge Jane.
Yes.
Tina Walia.
I'm on the fence.
That a choice?
But if the fence were to fall down, you would need a.
Reality.
Yes.
Charles E. Chang.
Abstain.
Okay. With 5 abstentions, 8 yeses, motion passes.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you all. 7 bills, pretty good. So this is our last meeting before the legislative session for the summer sort of wraps, because we won't meet in June. And so our next meeting will be in August when session's back up and running. So things might change between now and then, but if there are any other bills that you all wanted this body to potentially consider in August, now would be the time to let me know.
So I do have a couple.
Please.
SB 1942. It is asking that Class 2 and Class 3 e-bike register for Class 2, Class 3 DMV license plates. And then SB 936.
SB or A.
That was AB 1942. I'm sorry. Thank you. And then SB 936 limits nitrous oxide containers, and it basically prohibits, it limits them to under 8, is it milligrams or milliliters or whatever the measurement is, and then also prohibits scented ones.
Great. Thank you very much.
Those two, that's all.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes.
I have a suggestion, Chair, that's the meeting I am teeing up for in the board discussion for the board priority of e-bikes and e-scooters. And so my request is if you can find other bills, I'm glad Councilmember Romero suggested the AB 1942. If there are other bills, that would be the right time. Just from that angle. And if I find anything else from CalCity's emails, you know, I'll forward them to you.
Yeah. And Cal Cities has several sponsored bills on e-bikes. We can look at that list. Okay. Anything else? All right. Then at 6:40, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Nice to know.
That's wonderful. May I compliment you? Great job. Really.
I like your meetings because they're efficient.